right, welcome to Prayers Radio Show number 21. What do you think?
Yes, 21 it is. And we have Dr. Tracy Brown with us today. How exciting is that?
It's very exciting. She is a science of mind person that we all know and love. So let me see. What do we want to do today, Paul? I mean, this is
Well,
conversation show.
we're honored to have Tracy here with us so we can talk about prayer.
All right. And you know what I noticed? I didn't do the panels right today. And this is live, by the way, folks. We do this all the time. One of the things that you're going to find on Prayers Radio is that we're only about science of mind prayer. You know, Ernest Holmes. The nice thing about that is that with science of mind prayer, we are able to be authentic in ourselves because God works through us and for us. So let me go over and introduce Dr. Tracy Brown. Ta-da.
Introducing me to introduce myself. I am Tracy Brown. That part, yes.
And you know, she actually has she is a what did I say? You know, what type of books do you have? You have about 3 books, right?
So I have a couple of books that are focused on prayer, which obviously are appropriate to talk about. I have a book that is focused on being inclusive in spiritual communities, and I have a few books on leadership. But the ones that are really really pertinent and relevant to this conversation are I Turn to Prayer, which was written about 10 years ago, a collection of prayers and poems and reflections. For the 10-year anniversary, I published I Still Turn to Prayer. 10 years later, I still turn to prayer, and it is composed of prayers from the Science of Mind, Spiritual Mind Treatment format that I send out every Tuesday. So I have a Tuesday email list that gets a treatment by email every Tuesday. So I Still Turn to Prayer is a collection of treatments from the last couple of years.
And
Wow.
speaking of prayer, would you be okay with doing an invocation for praying us in today?
No, I want to pray. No, don't ever want to pray. You're asking me to pray. You'll be pleased that I am happy to do so.
Yay.
So let's just breathe in together. And it is that breath. Inhale, exhale. It is that cycle of breath that reminds me to recognize that there is something bigger than me. There is an infinite intelligence that might be invisible, but what it does is tangible. Because I can tell you I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. I can tell you that my lungs are working and the heart is circulating the nutrients from the air throughout my body because I've learned it, I've observed it, but I don't have any idea how to start with nothing and create the lungs, the heart, every system in the body to be able to breathe in and breathe out. So I know that there is a higher power. There is an infinite intelligence that has created me, has created Rich, has created Paul, has created everyone within the sound of my voice, for it has created all of life, and there are no exceptions.
Mhm.
So, how perfect it is to be in this moment, in this breath, to talk about prayer,
Mhm.
to share about spiritual mind treatment, to know and experience the truth of speaking my word and to share that with all who have ears to listen and hearts to explore. So I'm grateful. Grateful for this opportunity, grateful for the readiness and willingness to be in this conversation right here and right now. And from that gratitude, I simply release and surrender into the flow of the automatic nature of love and law, expressing and expanding life. This is good. And we affirm that together by saying, and so
And so it
it
is.
is.
Wow.
Perfect. Thank you.
Powerful. You know,
That's all I
the
needed. Thank you for coming.
that's right. And we have to make sure we plug your site, which is reclaimjoy.com. Very important to go there because she has a lot of good stuff there. Oh yeah. And you have a motto. You say, I mean, you've been doing this for over 35 years, right?
Right.
Wow. We talked about Reverend Shelf Lives before, right, Paul?
Exactly.
She's been doing this for 35 years. And you also have a motto, I think. What you always have a choice?
Yeah, you know what's funny about that is I was 15 or 16. I was in high school and we had a teacher. I'm pretty sure it was an English teacher, but she challenged us, gave us an assignment to create the motto that, for our lives. What do you know at 15 or 16?
Mm.
But I took it seriously, and the motto I came up with is you always have a choice. There was a
Mm,
lot of drama happening in my family at that time, and I was confused and all of that. But that motto is what kept coming
Mm.
up, and I turned that in. And so now, many decades later, about every 7 to 10 years, I actually have thought, is that still my motto? What's my motto for the next phase of my life? And every time it still comes up, you always have a choice. And that is perfectly in alignment with what is taught in the science of mind teachings, because we have to choose.
Mm.
And then if that doesn't give us what we want, then we get to choose again
Mm.
and again and again. And that for me is also the link for prayer and spiritual mind treatment, because that's what we're doing. We're choosing, we're setting an intention and choosing how we want to co create with the universe in our own lives or in the world. So, yeah, my life motto is you always, always have a choice.
Mm.
wow.
And like
That's
you said,
neat.
that's a very core of science of mind.
It is.
I
And I
know the
didn't know anything about science mind when I was 15 or 16 years old.
So how did prayer find you?
So, prayer, now I didn't know anything about science of mind, but prayer itself, because there's so many forms of prayer,
Mm.
I was very deeply grounded in prayer because I was raised in the church. I was raised in a Baptist church. And even though it was a very different kind of prayer, prayer as a young child really set the foundation for being in communication with the source of life.
Mm.
Mm,
Now, it was a different kind of prayer that I wasn't totally in alignment with, but what I got was the relationship between me being clear about what I want and being able to talk to God about that.
Mm.
wow. A lot of these things, Paul. I mean, we get guests every single week, and a lot of the stuff we get, we're going. What do we follow up with on questions for that? This is one of those moments right now that I'm going. Oh, what tangible results have you actually seen from prayer? I mean, we don't beg God in our philosophy. We put it out to the universe. We put it out into the law, and then the universe runs with it. What tangible results have you seen?
Yeah, I think that is a great question, because that is one of the big differences in the way I learned to pray
Mm.
young, which really was not, I would say for me, not so much begging, but not being sure my prayer would be answered. Like,
Oh.
right? And so by the time I came into New Thought, I had explored some Eastern religious paths, a variety of Christian religious paths, and when I came into the science of mind philosophy and began to learn it, I really began to understand I'm not praying to someone or something outside of myself, but I'm simply getting in alignment, right, with
Mm.
the universal truth and the universal goodness, and kind of directing the energy. So, tangible results, a couple come to mind that I can share quickly. One is I have this shoulder thing, and I've had tangible, measurable, observable, experienced results of healing my shoulder physically twice. Now, what some people know about me is that I'm a roller skater. And so I healed it the first time it was injured, and we thought it was a torn rotator cuff, but we weren't absolutely sure. And that did not happen skating. And it was kind of a freak thing. And I literally was doing prayer for physical healing, flexibility, strength. And it took about 9 months, but my shoulder healed. And then about 10 years later, I was roller skating and I re injured it.
Mm.
And it took over a year, but I can raise my arm now. I can move it. It's flexible. And there were no steroid shots or surgery involved. So prayer, and it wasn't just time. Like people say, oh, time, it will heal. No, my doctor said, you need surgery,
Mm.
Mm.
right? The physical therapist I went to for, I don't know, 6 sessions or whatever said, oh, that's not going to heal if you refuse the surgery because it's a really bad tear. No, prayer healed this shoulder.
Mm.
So that was one. And then the other one I want to share, because often people think, oh, you only do treatment when something's wrong. Your shoulder is injured. You better do treatment. And there was something wrong, but it wasn't physical, it was mental and emotional. So you and others may be able to relate to when everything shut down because of the COVID pandemic 5 years ago. I went through mental and emotional terror because I work as an independent consultant and coach. So everything shut down and all the business that was scheduled went away for an indefinite period of
Mm.
time. And I was terrified. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to feed myself? Where am I going to live? What, right? All of that.
Mm.
And I was like, Tracy, do you believe what you teach or not?
Mm.
Mm.
This is your time to prove these principles. And there were days where I did a spiritual mind treatment every hour that I was awake
Mm.
because it would work. I would feel better after doing the treatment. But 30 minutes later, maybe I got a phone call or an email, or I'd open my refrigerator and it was like, ooh, I need food, right? And I would be right back in it. And treatment, I didn't treat for what I was scared about. I did treatment for how I saw
Mm.
receiving business, being busy, making a positive difference for leaders and organizations. And I just kept affirming it and kept affirming it. And the things that happened, within 2 months were miraculous, we
Mm-hmm.
would say. But
Mm.
the two of you and I know it's not a miracle. It's applying spiritual practice with conviction and clarity.
And accepting it. That's the big thing. Oh, I'll only accept this much. No, 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 no. God, you're in charge. You know what I can handle. Bring it on. Bring it on. I want the good stuff. No, I don't just want the strawberries. I want the chocolate on
So, Tracy, during that time, how did you stay grounded?
Yeah, I literally what I described, I stayed grounded because I've trained myself to notice when I'm not grounded.
Mm,
So every time I would notice that I was beginning to go into the panic or
mm,
feeling fear more than peace, I would do a treatment. So, really, the way I stayed grounded was spiritual practice. Now, sometimes I would be able to meditate, for 20 minutes. Maybe it wasn't always spiritual mind treatment, but how I stayed grounded was spiritual practice.
mm.
I had affirmations on the wall in front of my desk. I had, meditation. I called prayer partners or emailed or texted them. Right. I've done 3 treatments and I'm still a crazy woman. Please pray.
it.
So spiritual practice, nothing else. If I'm not grounded and notice it, I get grounded through spiritual
Mm.
practice, reading, affirmations, prayer, meditation, treatment, something.
So,
I'll
practice,
tell you.
practice, practice.
Yes, application. The what do you do if you have a challenge? I think you've answered that one. You pray just like we do. What triggers you? Okay, what triggers a prayer in your life for you or your practice? Which I think you just answered that too, because we have specific questions that we ask, and then we talk about other things. What do you? Okay, in doubt, doubt. You said, oh, okay. What do you do to get out of that? You just covered that.
Well, no, no, no. Let
Uh,
me talk about that. Let me talk about that.
go for it.
Because one day I was doing a treatment during an event, and what came out of my mouth, right? What came through spirit, from spirit, through me, and out of my mouth was no doubt, no drama, just demonstration. And I heard it like, ooh, that's good. Ooh, where did that come from? That was really good. But I use it intentionally and consciously now because often I will say or I will remind myself there's no room for doubt. There's no need for me to create any drama about this situation
Mm,
or these conditions. They are what they are. This is what's happening. But I don't have to doubt that there is another way to be. I don't have to create any drama. And my job is to watch for the demonstration of what I want, what I'm claiming to be
mm,
true. And if I am so focused on looking for the demonstration or the manifestation, if I'm so focused on looking for that, it must come. And all the other stuff that's going on just goes right by me
mm,
because I will not allow myself to attach to it. So it's not that the doubt doesn't come up, but when it does, I usually remind myself or my clients if I'm coaching someone, no, no doubt. And I will not allow you to create any drama around. Forget that. Where have you seen the demonstration of that which we've been working on?
mm.
And it shifts everything just like that.
Oh yeah. bam, as we say before. We want to say hi to our Twitch audience, our Rumble audience, our YouTube audience, our iPod, Subcast, all these people out here. We love you and we're appreciative of you. So we just want to just give a hi out there. I'm looking to the left because I'm like, well, we got all these ones that are transmitting right now. Well, we thank you for being here. Go ahead and ask the next question, Paul, if you would.
So, Tracy, as a 15-year-old, starting with prayer, how has that changed or morphed for you as you are now? Because I know prayer just adds to itself.
Yeah. When I was a teenager, I did know a certain way to pray. And like many people, especially, at night, now I lay me down to sleep.
Mm.
I pray to God, my soul will keep. It's like I don't even know I know that still, but just it's like automatic. Um, and in my 20s, I began to see prayer in a different way, more aligned to the law of attraction,
Mm.
even though I could look at different faith systems. And then by the time I was in my early 30s, that had morphed even more to the deep down understanding, realization, and acceptance that every word I speak is a prayer.
Mm.
I began to understand what I had learned as a child from traditional background, that we should pray unceasingly. And I began to understand that everything I do and say is a prayer. I am speaking into existence. I am acting into existence. I am attracting into existence by my words and my behavior. And that's what prayer is. I'm communicating with the infinite truth, what's important to me.
Hmm.
Wow.
And so, yeah, now, even though we have a specific format that we refer to as spiritual mind treatment, I'm really aware that I'm living in answered prayer, and that isn't the result of everything, the accumulation of everything I do and say, not just when I'm focused on a format called prayer.
Wow.
Wow. That's powerful. We're living in answered prayer.
We're
Yeah.
living an answer. That goes to that next question. How have your prayers evolved and changed over time? It sounds like you've evolved them to the point where it's like, I got it. It's going. It's there.
And I am human like everybody else. So
Don't say that.
so there are days when I look at what's going on in my life and I have things to complain about, and I have things that aren't working out the way that I would like them to, and people who are getting on my nerves, and others who cut me off in traffic, like all of those things. And if I find myself simply complaining, if I find myself feeling angry or super frustrated, I actually do. There are two questions I ask myself. One of them is, and how, like, let's say it's just been a really challenging day in lots of ways. And I'll be like, okay, so how is this answered prayer? Or what
Mm.
prayer is it answering? And then the other question I ask myself is any of that worth losing your peace with God?
Mm,
And the answer to either or both of those questions tells me what to do treatment for.
you just ran right into our other question. What your prayer specifics? What works? It's like we are the one mind and individualized expressions of God, but wow.
Yeah.
Hey, how do you explain our philosophy to somebody who just doesn't know what it is? I mean, we always ask this question. God is, I am. Boom.
Well, there are 5 or 6 kind of little elevator speech things, 30
Mm,
seconds or less. But I think the one that I use the most as I reflect on when I know it's someone who doesn't even know the umbrella term new thought,
Mm,
right? And they're just like, what is science of mind? And I will often say, science of mind is, and okay, I guess it's not a secret, but between us, I started doing this because it's the cover of the Science of Mind textbook, right? Science
mm,
of Mind is a philosophy about how to live life and how the universe works. It is a faith and belief system to apply that philosophy in the way that we live, and it is a way of life. And so I use that, right? It's a faith, it is a philosophy, a faith, and a way of life as a way to talk about it without saying anything about God or anything deep
mm,
about God or spirit or practices. And then usually that person will ask about one of those things, philosophy, faith, or way of life. And then I'll go in that direction because that's the one they're most interested in.
mm.
well, Paul, we're at the 3 minute mark.
Hey, I have
Ask
one
specific
more question.
questions.
One more question for you, Tracy. So the last part of our treatment is always release. Has that release changed with you over time? Are you just releasing it all the time, or how does that show up for you now?
So I actually am not a fan of the term release now. I mean, this is
Okay.
how it's changed for me. I'm a fan of surrender instead of
Ooh.
release because I don't believe that we actually do release anything. It's still like my brain immediately went back to now I lay me down to sleep. I mean, I probably haven't said that prayer in 20 years, 30 years, but it was here. But I
Mm,
can surrender into the flow of God, into the
Mm.
current expression of goodness. And so I see that as me getting out of the way and surrendering into love and law.
that's perfect.
What is the takeaway that you want our audience to have from this show? Well,
Um,
we're going to plug your site and everything too after that, of course. But
well, the takeaway is what's worked for me, and I offer it as something that others can try to see if it works for them, is to turn to prayer. Right?
Mm,
No coincidence that the first book was I turned to prayer. I turned to prayer to get myself in the right energy. I turned to prayer to resolve. I turned to prayer to grow and move toward vision. And I still turn to prayer
mm.
for guidance and support in my life. So that works for me. Try it if you're looking for something new and see if it works for you.
wonderful, wonderful.
And what are your books again, Tracy?
Yeah, no,
I turned to prayer.
hold them up,
Yeah.
and it'll be in the show notes.
Prayer. I still turn to prayer, and they're available online.
We'll
Perfect.
make sure that they're in the bottom in the show notes.
Yay.
The your site again, what is it?
Reclaimjoy.com.
And then
Reclaimjoy.com. No matter what situation you are in, you can find joy from within.
I
I
like
think
that. That's cool.
I think your third book could be I Am Prayer.
Ooh.
Ooh, so you get
Mm.
good ideas for books.
Ooh.
Little
You
thing.
heard it
Oh,
here first, folks.
well, I'm River Rich. This is
Oh,
and our Dr. Tracy
Brown.
Brown, RScP. Da-da-da.
We are
And we
honored
are
to
per.
have you today. Thank you.
Oh yeah, You're fantastic. And we're so glad you could come today. We are Prayers Radio. You can see this on all the different stations that we've already mentioned and more. Go to our site, prayersradio.com, and you can also hear it if you're driving in the car. You can listen to the radio station that we have on anything. So, everybody say goodbye. No. She's going to pray us out.
Oh, okay, I am. So, benediction. Let us breathe together. Let us smile together. Let us be committed to being good in the world together. And as we leave this experience that we share, let each one of us go out into the world being a beneficial presence and experience the best that life has to offer. This we affirm by saying, and so it is.
So it
And
is.
so it is. Always
Beautiful.
live, always fun, and we'll see you next week.